Tell me a little bit about the nacho thing again.
Mom was running. Mom was like, Corbin, do something, like on Instagram. And it was, if she gets this many signatures, like, we'll remake a movie scene, you know? And then
You chose nacho.
it turned into something terrible, but great.
It's terribly great.
It's terribly great, yeah.
You know what else was actually cool? I think you posted it. It was for Bronson's birthday, maybe?
Oh.
It was like a compilation of you and Bronson doing funny stuff.
It just throughout the years, just random videos
It's like,
I had of us.
there's one where you're walking out of the water, and then like you realize that one of you's on the other shoulders.
Yeah, I'm so glad someone gets these things.
Oh, that was
just little tidbits I find in history.
it was golden, man.
Alive.
I thought it was so good. I thought it was
appreciate
great.
that, man.
So keep them coming out. What's up, everybody? This is MattyP here at the Harris Financial Center in Provo, Utah. The HIG Podcast here with my buddy Bronson Kaufusi.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good.
All right, you ready to get into this?
I am ready.
Well, we actually have a special guest again. As you've already heard, he's a great filmmaker, has some amazing creative ideas, but I think, Bronson, why don't you introduce him? You know him a little bit better than I do.
Yes. He goes by many different names. He's gone by Nacho, gone by, man, there's so many names. Hagrid. He's gone by, no, lots of names. Today we have my younger, taller brother, Corbin Kaufusi, played. So Corbin, he went to the Saints, then he went to the Jets. We were on the Jets together for a couple years there, and then he went to the Niners. And so yeah, it's actually pretty awesome because now we're both done playing, but we're also, both tied in with the investment space and financial, wealth and well-being space. So it's great to have you, Corb.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah, we're excited just because this podcast is to help people learn more about investing, learn more about real estate, learn about kind of like the mindset behind it all. And I think it's really unique to, talk with pro athletes and the whole investing side of their experience, because not everyone gets to be a pro athlete and not everyone gets to invest as a pro athlete or even have that experience. So it's great to have you here, brother.
I'm excited.
Yeah, we're stoked. We're so stoked to have you here. This is actually an episode that's been long coming. We like to kick things off or include some listener questions. This one is actually from Dax.
Ooh, Dax, let's go.
He has a question that fits perfect with today.
Oh, awesome.
And the question is, as a professional athlete, when did you learn to invest? And did any of the teams that you played for help you out or teach you how to invest? So this leads right into what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, wow. That's a great question. Maybe I'll answer the first one. You can get the second one. Okay. So, when did as a pro athlete, when did you learn to invest? And honestly, it's kind of funny because I feel like you're always learning about investing, but you don't really think about it honestly until you're out there playing and you have the money to invest. And so when that happens, it's like, okay, who do I go to? And you kind of just start with your inner circle and you start asking people questions, and you're looking for people to try to teach you, and you're just trying to be a sponge and soak it all in. Because it's like learning a sport for the very first time. I mean, you don't even know how to get into a stance. The very fundamentals, it's all new. And so at the same time, everything's new. Everything's very exciting because you've never done it before and you're learning things you've never learned before. And so I would say, when you learn investing, for me, I learned it and I still am, but I started to deep dive into it right at the beginning of my career when I had to. It's almost like I was forced to, because if I didn't, then, man, who else was going to do it? And, you want that, that money that you're earning from playing your sport to last a long time after you're done playing your sport. So for me, right when I got into the NFL is probably when I started to learn and think about investing. And, especially when I remember one of the older players, I was sitting there in the training room and Steve Smith, the wide receiver, he played at University of Utah. He came in and dropped off a book and a question. And the question he said was, if I give you $1 million right now, do you think you could survive for the rest of your life? And I kind of thought, yeah, I could do that, yeah. And he's like, I don't know, but maybe you should read this book and learn a thing or two about investing and different things. So I read Richest Man in Babylon. Good book, but that set me off. I started reading all the investment books, because I just loved it. And so, the crazy thing is there's still a lot of investment books I've never read before, and I'm still reading them. So there's always stuff to learn and room to learn. So that's a great question.
Yeah, I guess as for the part 2 of the question, if the teams have helped me in any places, it's interesting how it all is based off of kind of the hierarchy within your team. So like you learn not just financial stuff, but everything, like through teammates, through coaches, through the organization, but it's all to different levels and kind of on what you lean into. So I remember, as a rookie, they make you take investment classes. And so it's like, during that rookie training period, like after practices, after meetings, you have an extra hour of meetings about, financial things. But to be honest, you don't really absorb a ton.
Yeah.
You don't absorb a ton, but it's also very eye-opening. Because I still remember at the Saints as a rookie, and they came in and they're like, oh, by the way, this, and this affects your credit score. I had no idea. I remember calling my dad right after that meeting and saying, I need you to move this, and this for me because you have access to my account. So, it was just one of those things you just have no idea. And so.
All right. You mentioned the Saints, but what's your journey? So first, college, did you play in high school at all?
Yes, played a little in high school. It was weird. In high school, I was just the little brother to this guy. This is the superstar, and I was just the biggest fan, little brother. And then ended up growing up and hit puberty a couple times, I feel like, and played football and basketball at BYU, and then went to the Saints as a defensive end. And from there, got released and picked up by the Jets for 2 years as an offensive lineman, and then the 49ers after that, and played in the USFL on a 2-year deal after that.
That's sick.
So, been around a lot of different places.
Oh, that's fun. A lot of diversity, a lot of different learning or educational platforms or opportunities maybe to invest. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Every place was different. Like, it was cool to learn something different because of the area where I was playing even. Like, for example, down in New Orleans, the very first thing I noticed was Drew Brees was the quarterback at the time. That man had his face on everything in New Orleans. And that was my first thing, like, oh, this guy knows how to use his money. Because he was either a partial owner or the face of everything down there. And so that was incredible. That was an early onset, and then just every place was different. I would say, the Niners, Silicon Valley, you start rubbing shoulders with more of that type of a crowd.
all the tech people.
Yeah. Whereas like down in New Orleans, it was more restaurants and that.
So more than just like the face of the team, his face was on everything.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He was using his likeness to help utilize or leverage financial decisions that he was making.
Oh, 100%. It was so cool to see because I was really like, cool. And I had never really, it's not like Drew Brees is known for being a smaller guy, but here he was still the face of everything, and I was like, wow, he's really maximizing his time and his talents, not just on the field, but off the field in business.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like the athletes that are able to do that, I feel like that's like the most impressive.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Like, it's the most impressive. Like, when you have an athlete who understands what it takes to win on the field, but then also what it takes to win off the field. Like, those guys are really rare, and a lot of people look up to them. And I think a lot of people, when they're done playing, think, oh man, I wish I would have done more. Or I wish I would have done other things,
Well,
you just don't know.
Yeah. And going off what you said, I think more so it's even, high performing people in all different, workplaces know what they need to perform high. And I think athletes do, but a lot of, even being one, that's the last thing you want to do after a long day on the field or something. And so to see these pro athletes that are performing on the field and then taking what they do on the field and putting it into business was cool. Because that takes a lot of energy, like extra energy.
Yeah.
Like that is impressive.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the, Corbin and I, we went down to Newport to one of my friends. His name's Josh Childress, he played in the NBA. He has an investment firm called Landspire Group. And he throws a annual event called Gametime, where he brings together pro, football players from the NFL. You have the NBA, MLB, and then you have family offices, investors, executives, a lot of people from Silicon Valley. And so we went down. This is the second year I went, and Corb came too. And it's awesome because a lot of the athletes there are, really getting after it in the business space. And I feel like that's the flex though in especially the NBA is what have I invested in? What am I an LP in? What did I get into early? What did what types of real estate am I a part of? And it's really interesting how that's like a shift that I feel like is happening in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
Just slower.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's slow. What do you think? Why is it slower, you think? But it's still moving. We're going that way.
I think there's a lot of factors. Guaranteed contracts is one of them, and
that's true.
Or in the NBA, but yeah, it's cool to see that it is trending towards that.
Yeah, man. And but it's fun because down there you have all these people. There's some team owners there, and people are talking about, okay, everything's about investing. And so you have these pro athletes that get to rub shoulders with these awesome investors, and you get to share what you're working on. So, I was down there talking about Harris Investment Group and, the different things we do in the multifamily gas station space, which was a lot of fun. And Corbin was down there representing Cash Capital, sharing about all the cool stuff you guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you could share real fast, like what you guys do at Cash Capital.
No, absolutely. At Cash Capital, we mainly work with estate planning and a debt fund. And basically, just those types of investment solutions for people and trying to just help other people figure out things that are going to help them in the future. So like you said, it was cool to go down there, and I love that space, when it's both, high-end investors or owners and also, former pro athletes, because everyone understands that we're all learning type of thing. Mm-hmm. Like I thought one of the coolest things down in Newport, was Metta World Peace talking about him getting into business, and it was just him. He just by himself was like, I'm going to go to all these networking events.
Yeah, that was a cool story.
And from that is where he learned talk to people, because I feel like that's kind of how my experience has been, and getting with Cash Capital is like literally it's just having good conversations with good people and seeing if you can help each other.
Yeah. And that's what makes it so fun.
Exactly. Because it's like, all I want to do is help people. And if I can provide something for them, or I know someone that can, then why not?
Yeah. I think being open to talk as well, being open to share. I have it's a theory that I formed when we were in Mexico. I call it the Kaufusi effect. But I'm not even kidding you. It's a real thing. Let me give you an example. So we were in line getting on an airplane. We were in the little tube thing that you walk down. And Bronson and I and my wife Jen, we were talking and laughing about something. And this dude behind us starts laughing with our conversation. And it's like, yeah, I've been there. I know that too. What do you guys think about this? And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, that's just a complete stranger who just invited himself in the conversation with Bronson. That's really cool. But what was even more impressive was Bronson's reaction to it. I guess it wasn't even a reaction. Your response was very, very much inclusive and warm. And you're like, yeah, I've been there before. And, you just kind of started talking. And I kid you not, everywhere that we were, that would happen. In this resort in Mexico, we'd go down for some ice cream, and then Bronson would have this crowd that just kind of went to him. It's the Kaufusi effect. And I saw it with Steve as well. That's our dad. Like, I don't know who this dude is, but I can tell that, I want to talk to him.
Absolutely. Like you had, as soon as you said that, I knew exactly what you were going to bring up. I was like, it's got to be this because, and it's weird because you noticed it probably as a kid watching our dad mainly do it, and then now we all do it, and it's one of those things we just talk to people, and
So we're working at Days Market. That's
I
what
used to be the little kid that used to hate when I'd be in the elevator with my dad because I know he was going to say something or just have a conversation or something. But now I love it because that's now what I love doing.
That's so cool.
But it's interesting.
That's really cool. And you guys are super welcoming. And I am encouraging anybody that's listening to come up and talk to you guys.
We look a little scary, but we have a good conversation, I swear.
When I interviewed for this job, I was leaving after my first interview, and Bronson was in the lobby when we were done on the 3rd floor. And I saw his shoes. And they were just a pair of Nike Dunks, SB Dunks. And I was like, oh, hey, nice shoes. And he's like, hey, you too. You got some Jordans, right? And then we just started talking about shoes. So it's so easy. You guys all have it. You guys all have it. It's the Kaufusi effect. I'm putting a trademark on that right there so we can own it. Now, I have a question actually for both of you guys. Have you ever seen the movie The Replacements?
Oh, yeah, it's been a minute for me.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
I think it came out in the 90s, mid-90s maybe, or late 2000s. Mm-hmm. But there's one scene in it where all the NFL players on this team, I think they're on strike, right? So this team, they bring in the replacements. Yes. And there's one scene where Keanu Reeves, he's driving like an old Dodge or Ford or something, and all the players flip his car. And he's sitting there and he's like, he doesn't really bother them. And he's like, you know what? I'm just here to do my job. And there's reporters there and they're like, how do you feel? How are you going to get by without getting paid or without playing and getting that money? And you make millions of dollars. Like, you should be able to afford to live. And one of the guys is like, do you know how expensive it is to insure a Ferrari?
Do you have any idea what insurance costs in a Ferrari?
And it made me laugh, but it also made me think, like, and this has stuck to me today. Is that really how bad it is?
That is so true.
Is it?
Yeah, 1,000%. And it's more because of the culture of it. And sometimes it's where you're brought up or people's circles, you feel like a lot of people don't know, most NFL players are not making tons and tons of money, like these big contracts. We're just, most of the team, 80% of the team is just on good money, but not crazy. And some people think, though, that they have to live the lifestyle of an NFL player, that no matter what you are on the team, you're an NFL player. And so I have to be seen as this when I go out. I have to drive this. I have to do this. And yeah, it's still rampant. You see that a lot.
So there's almost like a perception that you play in the NFL, you make millions of dollars.
100%.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
And then the other side is, do you know how expensive it is to insure a Ferrari? I'm sure there's a lot of players that live that lifestyle or want to because they feel that pressure to.
Oh, totally. Right? And more than anything, it's also like, because it's just such an interesting job place, they don't know how the finances work. And maybe they're new to certain worlds, like buying a Ferrari and insurance. And so in NFL, I've known players, for example, you only get paid after games. Like, they split it now, but I had a teammate that didn't know that. Didn't know he didn't get his first paycheck until after the first game. And so was spending money thinking that he was getting paid before the season even started.
Oh, no.
And when an older guy is like, can't wait for that first paycheck to hit, I saw his heart drop. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, we don't get paid until the first game. Ooh. And it's just like those types of things. They just have never been in those situations. And so it can be hard to navigate.
They just don't know.
Oh, exactly. And I was like that for a lot of things too. You just don't know, and you don't know who to trust. And so all the financial things become very, at your forefront of your mind because you're just kind of a fish out of water in it.
Yeah, that's so true. But that's honestly the reason why I got involved with Jason Harris, was because I was just tired of seeing my teammates lose their money. I was interviewing people to invest with them, and I just needed the education. Like, I saw the gap, and I was like, I better do something about this. And so that's why when I came across Jason, it was really cool because I could ask him tons of questions. And he's a really good teacher. But, if you're a good teacher, then your classroom gets bigger. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of people, love being educated by great teachers, and Jason's one of them.
I know you were very selective. You didn't know who to trust. You had a criteria.
Yeah, I had like 20 people that I had talked to.
You wanted someone who would teach you.
Yeah.
Someone who would take the time to walk you through.
And not everyone takes the time. And NFL players, they need time. They need time.
Sure.
And it's not, it's just because, like Corbin said, I mean, even us growing up, we didn't know anything about investing. I don't think I ever used the word investing growing up. I don't think, did we?
That's more of a college word, man. Wasn't in the vocab. Wasn't on the vocab test growing up.
Oh man, and you just kind of get forced into it. So yeah, you just want to find really good people, and that's why I love when we go to these events.
Exactly.
To go and help these guys, and also just our teammates and people that we know. We love to help them learn about investing and then we love connecting them to people that we know.
Yeah, because that's all it is just helping other people.
Yeah, because guys aren't going around the country like we are, meeting all these people and learning about all the different opportunities out there. And so it's like, man, we've gone all over the place. It's great to share with them what we're seeing and people that we trust.
Yeah, that's cool. I think once you obtain a certain amount of knowledge, it's kind of your responsibility to pass it along.
Exactly.
And where you guys are, you're in a unique position where, given your history with professional sports, people are in that field, people in that realm are a lot more likely to trust you or to listen to you, right? Because they know that you're not there to take advantage of them.
Exactly.
Plus, you're nice guys.
Because I think that's one of the big things almost every pro athlete at some point will experience is meeting someone in the financial space that doesn't have their best interest. And that's where you find a big learning curve. And kind of like us, when you find amazing people, kind of like, Jason for you and Brock and the way he's been with me, like you want to help your teammates find these good people because they make the biggest difference. It's like finding a coach that believes in you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, you need this. This is going to help you.
Yeah. Then the sky's the limit after that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One last question. If there was one thing that you could tell your younger self, right between that college and NFL stage, what would that be?
I'll go first. And specifically with investing,
Yeah.
would you say? Or
with investing or with money?
with money okay. I would say...
Look for Jason. I'm
Yeah,
just
look for
kidding.
Jason, yeah.
Who?
No, yeah. I just wish I would have just read more earlier because I would have connected the dots faster. And the faster I could learn, the more I could consume, then I think it would have put me even that much farther ahead, right? 'Cause I've had a great experience, but I still am like, dang, I really didn't get into investing. I knew about it and was learning all about it and doing all the things, but I didn't really get into it until like my second year. But if I would have gotten into it my first year, if I would have had a plan going into it already, I would have even gained that much time on the compounding, which we've talked about, right? The compounding side of investing in things.
Cool. Nice. Cool. So same journey, just learn it, be a little more curious.
Yeah. Just go faster. Just do more.
Just go faster.
Yeah, go faster.
Do it faster.
Go faster, Bronson.
It's funny because mine's kind of similar. I tell myself, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Because we came from different setups into professional sports, where it's like, okay, you had a little bit more of a signing bonus. It was a little different, whereas I kind of came clawing in type of thing. So I had investments on my mind from the beginning. But I remember I was so afraid of looking dumb and to ask people about investments,
People love it though.
Because it's like, it's true. But as an athlete, I don't know what it is, but you feel like when you're on a professional level, to feel like you're asking a dumb question about something you don't know, like another field, you just don't feel like as, I don't know, it can be deflating. I feel like a lot of athletes feel like that way, like you feel dumb, but I realize now it's the opposite. Now I love asking even the dumb questions because you're going to learn more. So I wish early on I wouldn't have been afraid to ask those questions and to delve into it with people more. I was just trying to learn on my own, which is a much slower process.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? I think that's like a generalized life lesson that all of us would tell ourselves when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like who cares if you look dumb? Don't be afraid to look dumb and ask questions.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I'm like, and even then it's like, sometimes I look dumb doing other things. Why did I care about this one? I'm like, I'm willing to look dumb here, but not here? What in the world?
Life, man. You didn't look dumb in that Nacho Libre video, though.
Thank you.
Great.
Full circle right
Just
there.
Peak performance.
Peak performance. Were those beans that you grabbed?
Yeah.
And you wiped on his eyes?
You know, he wouldn't do the actual dog crap.
Awesome. This has been a lot of fun.
Man, this is so great. Corbin, thanks so much for coming on our show, talking about pro athletes, investing, all the stuff we love to talk about. Appreciate you all joining us this week. We love answering questions, so reach out to us at contact@harrisinvestmentgroup.com. So we'll catch you next week.